What's going on, everybody? Z3KO Trinity here, and today is Stephen King previews. Instead of doing one book at a time, I figured I'd speed things up a little bit for you guys and do Z3 books. First book, The Shining, The Shizzle. One of Stephen King's most popular books. Very well known. But let's pretend we don't know anything about Stephen King. And let's say you just saw this book, probably want to see the hardback instead. I wish I had the first edition hardback, but I have this really nice paperback, which I do like this paperback. But let's say you picked this up for the first time. So let's see. We got Stephen King, The Shining, newly introduced by the author. This book has like a yellow glow in the back with like some kind, with the hotel there, and just this weird ass kid. And the book, it is a nice art. I think the art on the original hardback is a lot creepier, but for heaven's sakes, let's just pretend we're looking at this book for the first time. So you turn over, and it has all the New York Times and other people praising it, but you go up here, and the Overlook Hotel is more than just a home away from home for the Torrance family. For Jack, Wendy, and their young son, Danny, it is a place where past horrors come to life, and where those gifted with the shining do battle with the darkest evils. Stephen King's classic thriller is one of the most powerfully imagined novels of our... Oh shit, them burritos! Them damn burritos! Imagined novels of our time. So with that, I would say yes. Just by the front and back of the book, I would definitely pick this up. If I had no knowledge of who Mr. King is, never read the books, never heard of the original books that I've mentioned before, and just found this, yes, I would definitely pick it up. The simple fact that it's based in a hotel, and it says here where horrors come to life and gifted with the shining do battle with dark evils. That's very interesting, I think. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that just by what you've seen and what you've heard, would you pick this book up if you had no clue who this Mr. King is? And then we go to the first page. Here is an introduction. Okay, part 1, Prefectory Matters. Because they have rights too, you know. And it says, Chapter 1, Job Interview. Jack Torrance thought, officious little prick. That's the very first line in the book. Now with that thought, I think that was really, really funny. And it kind of does draw your attention. Like Jack Torrance thought, officious little prick. It's like, okay, who's he calling an asshole now? Ullman stood 5'5", and when he moved, it was with a prissy speed that seems to be the exclusive domain of all small, plump men. Oh, God damn it! That's funny. It's like Eric Cartman. The part in his hair was exact, and his dark suit was sober but comforting. I am a man you can bring your problems to, that suit said, to the paying customer. To the hired help, it spoke more curtly. This had better be good, you. You. There was, if you hear chainsaws in the background, people are cutting trees around here. Where am I at? There was a red carnation in the lapel, perhaps so that no one on the street would mistake Stuart Ullman for the local undertaker. Now, with that first paragraph, would that really draw you guys in? Like, if you picked up the book and you're like, what's The Shining? What's that about? And you read the back and you're like, well, I'm not quite sure. And you just skim through to see what the beginning sentence is. Did that draw you in? For me, I would say it does. Simply because he's talking to this short, plump, fat guy and saying, oh, this little prick. But the chapter's called Job Interview. So it makes you wonder, is he the boss interviewing this little prick, or is he being the one at the interview trying to get hired by this prick? So right off the bat, it does seem kind of funny, and it does seem really interesting. So I agree. I think it does pull you in. But let's see what the last sentence says here. We got epilogue, summer. We got, he put an arm around Danny's shoulders, and the boy reeled the fish in, little by little, Wendy sat down on Danny's other side, and the three of them sat on the end of the dock in the afternoon sun. So apparently it does have a little nice happy ending for the three people of the family. Or so we think. But based on, like, if you didn't know the story, if you did not know anything about it, and you read that last sentence, your first thought would be, oh, well then the three family, you know, Jack, Wendy, and their young son Danny, apparently have a nice little fishing trip at the end of this. So, wow, it does have a happy-ish ending. So, yeah, that right there, just for the simple fact of nice, peaceful ending, suspicious little, or vicious little prick, or however he said it, very beginning, kind of funny. Just those two is really cool connected together. Next up, we have, oh, and I rate that as a, yes, it does pull me in. What do you guys rate that? Did that pull you guys in? Next up, we have Stephen King's Night Shift. And same thing, pretend like you didn't see the original hardback cover, you just went to a store and got this. Because this is the only book I have. I'm hoping to God that I can afford to get my books upgraded. I want them all first edition. Before I die, I am getting them all first editions. But they're so expensive. Stephen King's Night Shift. The picture here is of a hand being bandaged with a bunch of eyes on it. Now, if that don't draw you in, I have no clue what will. And it says underneath it, excursions into horror. Intriguing. The back is just a nice black solid back. The back of the other one's just, you know, the yellow glare. In places where fear dwells and blood runs cold, sinister forces and unspeakable things are working the night shift. From the depths of darkness, where hideous rats defend their empire, to dizzying heights where a beautiful girl hangs by a hair, above a hellish fate, Night Shift will plunge you into the subterranean labyrinth of the most spine-tingling, eerie imaginations of our time. Now, if that don't pull you in, I honest to God don't even know what's wrong with you. I thought that was badass. If I was introducing a book, I would probably find a badass saying like that connects it into the name of the book. Plus, with that art, no way, man. The original book, I believe, is just like a tan collar. It had Night Shift with like a red strip down, and I can't quite remember what it said, if it said anything extra. These is a collection of short stories. I am not going to read every single beginning of the short stories, but I'm going to read the names instead. So that way, based off the names of the short stories, would that pull you in? So, besides the forward and introductions, we got Jerusalem's Lot. Makes you think, Salem's Lot? Now we got Jerusalem's Lot. Wonder what that's about. Graveyard Shift. Night Surf. Switch them around, you'd have Night Shift and Graveyard Surf. I Am the Doorway. The Mangler. The Boogeyman. Gray Matter. Battleground. Trucks. Sometimes They Come Back. Strawberry Spring. The Ledge, which by far... The Ledge is one of the best short stories that Stephen King has written. The Lawnmower Man. Quitters, Inc. I Know What You Need. I Know What You Need. Children of the Corn. The Last Rung on the Ladder. The Man Who Loved Flowers. Interesting. One for the Road. And The Woman in the Room. Now, 3 of those names actually stood out to me. You know, thinking, okay, this is a blood-curdling, unspeakable, sinister forces. So I know right off the bat it's going to be a scary story, obviously, based on the picture and that. And we have what 3 titles stood out to me was Sometimes They Come Back, Children of the Corn, and The Woman in the Room. I think those 3 titles alone want to drag me into the story. So I will say an official yes for that one. Now we got this big whopper right here. This big cheeseburger. The freaking Big Mac Daddy of them all. This is the complete and uncut version. He did 2 versions. He did one, the original hardback one, but it was not complete. He felt like it was incomplete. so he went back and rewrote everything on it and added a lot more. So I don't have the original, but I do have the complete one. And this ain't a first edition, obviously. It's a really nice kind of like standalone cover. I don't know what you call them. But if I saw this in store, I would think, that's kind of interesting. I like the eyes at the top. The back don't have any words to it. So right off the bat, I'm like, I wonder what this is about. You turn right here to the intro page. This is the way the world ends, with a nanosec of computer error in a Defense Department laboratory and a million casual contacts that form the links in a chain letter of death. Wow. Now that's writing right there. That is good. I really, really like that. And here is the bleak new world of the day after, a world stripped of its intuitions and emptied of 99% of its people. A world in which a handful of panicky survivors chooses sides or are chosen. A world in which good rides on the frail shoulders of the 108-year-old Mother Abigail, and the worst nightmares of evil are embodied in a man with a lethal smile and unspeakable powers, Randall Flagg the Dark Man, aka the Man in Black from the Gunslinger series. And yes, there is a little bit of picture discrepancies in this book. That's kind of interesting. And I think that's actually the original cover of the original book. I'm wondering if it has like... Yeah, it does have actual pictures within the book. So that actually will help out a lot. So if you're just skimming through the book for the first time. But based on that little description that I read, hell yeah, it's pulling me in. And, let's see, where's the, is that where it ends? I guess right here. Life was such a wheel that no man could stand upon it for long, and it always, at the end, came round to the same place again. That's really nice. That's a really nice, poetic ending. So... does this book drag you in? It sure the hell dragged me in, I thought, anyway. I love Stephen King's writing. It seems like his newer stuff has kind of went a little slow, but I absolutely love his writing style. So, out of the 3 books, is there any one particular that really kind of pulled you guys in? For me, personally, I would have to give it to The Stand, because that was really, really good. I love the writing that it had on the intro. But based on the book cover, I'd have to give it to Night Shift. I mean, don't get me wrong, little kid is creepy, but a hand bandaged with eyeballs? Yeah, for the win. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. And... what's this?